Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Wes, the Suburban Viking. I got my buddy Dave here with me, and we are Midgard Axe. So I finally finished the hafting on the Gränsfors Bruk carpenter's axes. Of course, guys, I've got another one that I've been throwing that I didn't have to haft. So this video here, I'm going to show you guys how I hafted these axes, give you some tips and tricks along the way, and show you how I did it. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to throw these today and then kind of put this video in with the old video. Sorry about my voice in the hafting video, guys. I was sick when I filmed that. I've been trying to get around to finishing this video, and just time hasn't been my ally. So without further ado, let's start the video. Today I'm bringing you the two Gränsfors Bruk carpenter's axes that I got handles for. We're going to haft them. So let's get into it. I'm not going to show you every little detail that I do. I know that gets boring. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to give you some key points, show you some key things that I do, and then afterwards, I caught that one. Did you see that? So let's just get into how I start when I replace my handles, and then we'll go from there. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the axe up into the portable vise here, and I'm going to cut the handle off. Okay. Number one, and we're going to do the second one now. Same way. I like trying to cut as close to the lugs as I can. Okay, and the next step I like doing is I like putting the axe head back into the vise here, okay? And I like to cut the top of the axe handle off of the axe head, okay? So we got the top shaved off and we got the handle cut. Let's do the next one. I think I've given this vise all it can take. It's going out, guys. If you guys got any experience with these vices, these portable clamps, but I've gone through 3 of them. They only last for so long. Maybe it's because I use them so much, but they don't last very long. I actually hafted this axe here. The other one was stock, how it came from Gränsfors. This one here, because I put the beard in it, I had to rehaft it, and I can tell because I put a walnut wedge. You guys can see that I put a walnut wedge in it. Let's go ahead and knock the handle out of the eye. This one should be fun. I hafted this one. I'm curious to see how much harder it's going to be to get this one out compared to that one. So let's start with the one that Gränsfors hafted first, and then we'll do the one that I hafted and see if there's any difference of how well or how hard the axe handles come out of the axe head. And I'm going to use a tool that I made from an old council tool handle. This thing's seen its fair share of beating. But guys, whenever I cut handles off, don't use handles like, like the Gränsfors one here. If they're not too bad, I'll reuse them as tools. You can beat on them for a while before they crack. So, and if this tells you guys anything, this is an old council tool handle that I've been using to pound heads, axe handles out of axe heads. And you can see here, it has yet to split. I've been using this for months and months and months. So, that tells you anything about council tools handles. They'll take a freaking beating. As a testament to show you guys how well these handles are hafted onto the heads, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. So I'm going to pound this handle on the top, okay? And I'm going to try to get it to move as best I can. More than likely, I'm going to have to take a drill and drill out the center wedge to get this thing to go through. The handle kind of swells at the bottom where the lugs are, so I can't flip it upside down and hit it. So I'm going to show you guys though real quick how well these handles are hafted on here. Alright, so we're starting to get a little bit of movement now. As you can see, the handle's starting to come out of the way. Be careful when you get to the end. You don't want to swing too hard and this thing give way. So, ask me how I know about that. So when you get down to where it's about to come out, I would take your time and start hitting it a little bit lighter. Okay, we're out. We're through. One down, one more to go. Let's do it. Okay, so that took a little bit of force getting that out. It really did. They do a really good job hafting their handles on their axe heads. So here's the one that I hafted. We're gonna see how good this one's hafted on. See if it's as good as Gränsfors. So let's give it a few whacks. Watch this thing come out on like two hits. Wouldn't that be something? All this boasting I'm doing about how I haft my axes. All right, let me reposition it. Son of a bitch. Like I said, guys, this is the one that I hafted. You guys want to know why my axe heads don't come loose? And people are like, oh, that means nothing. Okay. Okay. You say so. You say so. It ain't coming loose. I'm gonna have to drill it out, guys. The one that I have to is probably gonna have to be drilled out. I can't, and I've ran into this before. I kind of already knew I was going to do this, but I want to show you guys something. When I haft my axes, it's literally denting the wood. It's still where it was when I cut it off, guys. It's not, I mean, there's still a ledge right there of wood. Hasn't even moved down yet. So I'm probably going to have to drill it out. So let's get the drill out and drill this one out. I can't get it off. So let's do that. Not taking anything away from Gränsfors. That thing was on there good. It wasn't coming loose. You guys want to know, in my experience, you know, with the hafting that I've done and replacing handles, I've been doing it for a while. Some of the hardest axe handles to remove from axe heads are, company-wise, Gränsfors and Council Tool. If that tells you anything about how they, you know, take that for what you want to take it as. But those two companies have some of the hardest handles to remove from axe heads. And I'm not complaining at all. I'm just giving you my opinion and my experience. So let's drill this thing out, and hopefully I don't catch the inside of the axe eye wall there, and try to get this handle out of here. Yeah, I'm not beating on this thing anymore. It's been a long day. I'll drill it. Alright, so let's try to beat it out now. I will tell you guys, there was one axe not too long ago that I did on my own off camera. I couldn't get out. It was one that I had hafted. I couldn't get it off the head. So I had to end up drilling the whole thing out. I mean, the whole handle had to be drilled out. And for some of you that want to know what it is that I do that causes these axe heads to not come off handles, I haft them very well. And I splay. I haft it proud, and I splay it really fat over top of the axe head. But I also, and I've told this to my subscribers before, I use epoxy inside the axe head walls of the eye onto the wood itself. That's what all this stuff right here, guys, is it's epoxy. Stuff works great to keep axe heads on, but it's a real pain to replace your handle. So, is it worth it? I've thrown this axe now for a year, and I'm having to replace the handle. So, and it didn't come loose. So once a year I got to go through and fix handles that I threw axes into other axe handles. I'll take that all day long than worrying about an axe head coming loose. So let's give this thing a few more smacks and see if what I did worked. It moved a little bit. Alright guys, new day. I got the handle out of the axe that I hafted. Gränsfors Bruk did a great job hafting their axe. I will say they do a great job. So it took me some time to get that handle out of the axe eye. However, mine are really hard to get out because I use an epoxy on the inside of the handle here. Where it meets the lugs on the inside of the axe eye. Okay, I have to usually drill it out. I got to use wood scrapers to scrape the wood from the inside. Then I use my Dremel and Dremel out all that epoxy and wood stuck to the walls of the axe eye. So it does take some time. Is it worth the extra 30 minutes, 30 minutes to get the handle out of the axe eye? That's personal preference, I guess. To me, yeah, it's worth it because I don't have to worry about my axe head coming loose. So I don't want to put a bunch of time and effort into having an axe, throw an axe, and the handle coming loose or the head coming loose on the handle. I know that the way I seat it, it's not going to come loose. Now, the cool thing about this is that I got two axe heads to haft, and I got two handles. So what I like doing is when I have multiple handles I can use for one axe head, I like going through each one and seeing which one fits the best. Not all axe handle eyes are the same, and sometimes you can get lucky and find a handle that fits your axe head very well without very much work. And I was messing around with these two, and this one right here fits really nice. I will say with the Gränsfors Bruk handles, I wish that, it's not a huge deal, but their kerfs aren't cut low enough, I don't think. By the time I get this down to on the shoulder here, the kerf isn't low enough. And I'll tell you guys real quick how I like cutting my kerfs. When I cut my kerfs, I like them to be at least 3/4 of the way down on the axe head. Now, don't get confused with axes that have lugs on them like a Swedish axe. I don't cut my kerf down here to the lug. Okay, number one, it's too far. Number two, it's going to peek out the back. Okay, I measure it, you know, the standard axe head right here, and I want it to go about right here, about 3/4 of the way down. That's where I want my kerf to stop. Okay, so it splays out from about here up on the actual axe head. Then the bottom section here will rest right here on the shoulder of the handle. So that's how I cut my kerfs and how I hang my axe heads on my axe handles. As you can see here, guys, I went ahead and put this one on there because I want to see how it fit. I've got contact all over this handle from about here down, which is great, which is what you want. So let me just give you a slight demonstration. Okay, so here we go. It's almost coming out, okay? And, you know, I can tap it down a little more. But as you can see there, guys, it's just starting to peek its way out, okay? And I need to go down to about, get this section right, about right in here somewhere. So probably another 1/2 inch, a little over 1/2 inch down more. I might be able to get it, smacking it. So let's give it a few whacks and see how far we can get this head to go down. I think I'm going to have to take it back off and cut the kerf, but I want to see how it fits first. So let's give it a few whacks and see, you know, what we got after that. Whacking time. I'm not going to hit it too hard, guys. They don't, you know, I don't trust this down here. I really don't. So I'm not going to hit it really hard. I'm just going to give it a few hits and kind of see where I'm sitting at here. Okay. I mean, look at that. I mean, that eye has, you know, come out pretty well. It is nice and straight. We did get it straight, which is nice. And I've got no space. I've got no space at all. I could leave it like this. I could. I'm almost down on the shoulder. I don't want to go too far down. I found with these Gränsfors Bruk carpenters axes, you can get them somewhat close to the shoulder and they're good. The shoulder does kind of flare out a little bit, and you know, I kind of had to squeak it down on there to see, you know, where I was sitting at, and it looks really good right now. And I didn't have to hit it all that hard. To show you guys a little demonstration of how well this thing is sitting on here, let's go over to the target. Now, this is something that I do. I used to do it regularly. I don't do it very much anymore because I've gotten good about knowing where my axe head is on my handle and feeling it and seeing if it's tight enough. But what I used to do is I used to get it to where I thought it was good, and I'd throw it just like this. And if it came loose, or this handle came off the handle really easily after I threw it, then that tells me one of two things. Number one, I'm not getting enough contact inside the axe head eye there with the handle. Now, you can remedy that with a thicker wedge to splay it out. Okay, you can easily remedy that. However, I found that I don't want to have to do that. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. If I can throw this the way it sits a couple times and it doesn't come out and it doesn't loosen up, then I think I've got a pretty good fit. So let's take the camera over there real quick, do a couple throws, and see if this handle comes loose from this head without a wedge in it or anything. Let's give this thing a chuck and see what it does. Didn't move at all. I stepped a little close on that one. I had to flick it really quick. I'm not trying to be super accurate, guys. I'm just throwing it to see how it fits. So I threw it a few times and we got no movement. No movement at all. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna bring it down a little bit further. I think if I give it a couple more good whacks on the bottom of this knob, I'll be able to get it down maybe another 1/4 of an inch, and then I'll really get a secure fit. I know it's secure now, but you know, can only get more secure if I bring it a little bit farther down on that shoulder. So let's go do that now. And just so you guys know, if you want like a step-by-step guide on how to haft axes, I've done a couple videos in the past. If you're going to go check it out, I'm sure I'll do some in the future. At this point in time, watching somebody haft an axe over and over and over again, to me, just gets a little repetitive and gets kind of boring. So in these, I just kind of show you parts here and there and give you good information that I think would help you or that I think are interesting, okay? And I'll just kind of stop and you know, show you what I've done or show you what I'm doing if I think it's pertinent. But you know, showing you every little step over and over and over again, it's the same thing. But let me go ahead and smack this thing down a little bit more, get it a little bit farther down the shoulder, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like, you know, right before I put the wedge in and all that. And then I'm going to do the second one, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. So let me get back to smacking this knob. Okay, so give you guys a look here. I'm down where I want to be at now, and I'll give you a look. You'll see where the lug is actually starting to bite into the wood. Get out of the camera. See that? Okay, so I got contact from basically, you know, here all the way down, and then my lugs now, it's not curling, it's biting into the wood, which is what I want, okay? So that looks really good. I've got it where I need to be at. However, the kerf is only going about halfway down the axe head. So I need to cut the kerf a little bit farther down so that way I can get it to about 3/4 of the way in, you know, down on the axe head. So let me go ahead and do that now, and then I'll come back. Alright, so I've got the epoxy mixed, and what I like doing is I like putting some on the inside of the axe eye here, okay? Like this. I mean, guys, there's not really any, you know, technical way, I guess, to really do this. I like putting it on the lugs and just kind of going all the way around with it. Like I said, there's not really a technical way, I don't think, for this, really. Kind of whatever you want to do, whatever you think is best. I will tell you, the more epoxy you use, the harder it is to get this handle off if you got to replace it. But, you know, it's not like it's impossible. Took me an extra like 20 minutes or so to get the handle out compared to the Gränsfors hafting job. You know. That's just me. This is just how I do things. I put thin coat all the way around, and then once I've done that, I'll put a little bit, just a little bit more on the handle, right where the lugs will hit. Don't put it too far down because, you know, when your axe head goes down, it's going to move it down, and it's a real pain to get it on your handle. So I just kind of put it up where the axe eye, you know, in the center. Kind of judge it. You can always sand it out if it goes a little too far down on your handle. But, you know, nothing, I don't put a ton, guys. Just, you know, a little light coat. Put some on the front. And I put some on the back as well, of the back of the axe handle, where the pole is. Not a ton, just a little. And guys, you don't have to use epoxy. You definitely don't. I like using it just because I throw so hard, you know. I throw so hard, you know. It's just, it's added insurance that I like having. Okay, I think that's good enough, guys. It kind of looks like this. So let me slap this head down onto this handle, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Oh, I got kerf dust in there. Another thing too, guys, before I continue is that I need to make sure that I know how long my kerf is compared to my wooden wedge, and it's exactly the same. So I know that the kerf is cut exactly the same length as my wedge here is, okay? So let's get to smacking it down. Yeah, it looks good. That looks good right there. I like that. Almost down. The shoulder starts here, and we're right on that ridge. So we got a bunch coming out of the top here. It is nice and straight. Yeah, that looks good, guys. That looks really good. I like that fit. Now let's take our wedge and see how far we are down. Now I told you guys before that the wedge was the same length as the kerf. So this will give you an idea where your wedge is going to stop inside of your axe eye. So we take our wedge and put it up at the top where it's at. Look where that ends. About 3/4 of the way down. So we're about, it stops about right, somewhere right in here, right in this area. So we're about 3/4 of the way down inside the axe eye, which is exactly where I like being. Now guys, sometimes whenever I go to seat my wooden wedge, I'll use either the epoxy that I've used to seat the axe head onto the handle with, or I'll use Gorilla Glue. I normally use Gorilla Glue when it's real tight, when I don't have a huge amount of kerf to work with up here, and this one's pretty tight, because the Gorilla Glue almost works like lube while it's wet. So it will help that wedge go down, and then as it dries, it sticks. That epoxy, it doesn't take, it's like pretty instant. It starts to kind of gum up and will like prevent things from, you know, friction. So in this one here, I'm going to use Gorilla Glue. Guys, make sure that when you put your wedge into your axe eye there, that you measure the eye in your wedge, because sometimes it looks good. You'll stick, you know, maybe like about this much in there, and you'll go, oh yeah, that works. But as it goes down, it kind of tapers, and then you'll start getting hang up where you'll get to about right here with your wedge, about almost halfway, and then all of a sudden it stops. It's hitting the actual axe head eye wall inside there. So what I like doing is I like kind of giving my wedge kind of a taper. So that way it kind of goes here, and then as it goes down, it'll kind of go in a little bit. Not that drastic, but you know, kind of like in like this. So it kind of goes like this a little bit. So that way I know it'll pass through the axe head eye and kind of go as far as it can down. So I'm just going to shave these sides down real fast, and then we'll seat the hardwood wedge into the axe. Okay, so my wedge is good, and like I've told you guys before, I like rounding my wedge over at the ends here. You can leave it square or rectangle shape if you like. I just kind of want to match. I like matching the axe head eye because it's an oval shape, so I kind of give these you know, sides here on the hardwood wedge kind of a rounding, so it's more of an oval shape than it is a rectangle. So now when I put Gorilla Glue on my wedge, guys, I don't get too crazy with it. I just kind of put a little bit on there and spread it evenly on the hardwood wedge, and make sure I cover everything. So basically it kind of looks like this. Okay, it's not too thick on there, but it'll give some lube to help that wedge go down to that axe. So for like the 4th time I've said, let's put this axe head together. Let's do it now. All right, guys, we're done with number 1. Turned out really well. Splayed it over very nicely, so we do have a nice splay job, and it looks really good. That's not a normal steel barrel wedge. That's a smaller steel barrel wedge that I put in there. A regular size steel barrel wedge that you would see in like the Husqvarna axes that I use, or any other axe, it would blow out these sides and ruin the hafting job. So you got to make sure that when you use steel barrel wedges, you know, size them properly. You can always take a bigger one and Dremel the sides down, take it from a circle into more like a rectangle, and that way it doesn't blow your sides out when you're, you know, hammering it in. But I had some smaller ones. It worked out really well, and it looks really good, guys. So there is the finished product there. Like you guys can see there, it kind of thin and then splays out and then kind of goes back in. But you're going to see, I'm going to throw this thing for probably another year. And as long as I don't hit another axe into this handle, I'll be able to throw this thing for longer than a year. That was the only reason why I had to replace the handle. The head didn't come loose. I just sliced this handle right in half with another axe. So hopefully we don't do that with this one, and hopefully this one lasts for another year. And I'm going to go ahead and start on the second one. I'm not going to show you guys that. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'll show you the finished product. So let me get to that, and I'll be right back. Earlier when I was telling you guys to make sure you fit your hardwood wedge to your axe heads, the reason why I say that is because sometimes if you don't, you'll go to throw your hardwood wedge in there when you're hafting your axe, and it'll only go a quarter way down or halfway down, and all of a sudden it stops. And you're like, what the heck? And you start beating it, and it's not going anywhere. Well, normally what that means is that your hardwood wedge is hitting the sides of the inside of the axe head wall. And what's happening is it's preventing it from going down anymore. And what happens is when you beat it, your hardwood wedge will split in half, or it'll crack and break off, or just explode, okay? So what I like doing is I like fitting my hardwood wedge to my axe head prior to where it looks something like this. And I'll come around the camera and show you guys. So that way it kind of looks like this. And the reason why I want it to look like that, okay, is because that's how far I want my wedge to go down. I want the fattest part to splay the top over top of this axe head, okay? So I'll get that here. I know it's going to go all the way down, and I know the fattest part of this hardwood wedge is going to be at the top where it's going to splay that handle over. So in theory, that's how it should work. You can do other things. I've seen other people do other ways, and it's totally fine. You can do it however you want. I'm just showing you how I do it, and how I do it seems to work. So take that for what you want to take it as, but it works for me, and I figured I'd show it to you. Remember I was telling you guys about steel barrel wedges in previous videos and in this video? I went to go put a steel barrel wedge in the second carpenter's axe, and I realized I had no more small ones. I only had big ones. Now I don't want to shove this huge steel barrel wedge down into that. It's going to explode that axe handle into that eye, and it's going to ruin my hafting job. However, remember how I told you you can take steel barrel wedges and shave them down on the sides to make more of an oval shape? You can also do this too. I've done it before and it works. You can take a standard barrel wedge, you know, the big size that you get in Husqvarna or whatever. You can literally cut those in half and make them 2 steel barrel wedges, okay? So what I did was the bottom one down here is a little bit smaller, so I cut one in half. Now, that solves my length problem, but it doesn't solve my width problem. That's still too wide. And I don't feel like shaving the sides down. So here's another option that you can do, and I've done before. Take a normal steel barrel wedge. If you cut it in half or if you keep it the same shape, either way, put it in your vise and literally vise it down until it turns into an oval. So that way when you go to put it in, it won't blow out your axe handle in your axe eye. So that's what I'm about to do. Figured I'd show you guys that. I forgot about that until I started doing it, and I was like, oh yeah, I should put that on camera. So yeah, take your steel barrel wedges, put them in your vise, and just crimp them like this. Instead of shaving the sides down and making a rectangle, just crimp them down. Make it longer, make it narrower, and you know, it'll work real good. So let me throw it in this one and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So when you hammer it down, you get something like this, okay? And it's splayed it out really nice. It's nice and long, so the splay actually goes out a little bit farther, and you get something like this, guys. Look at the splay job on that. Whew, mushroom over the top. Like it, love it, and I'd like some more of it. So works, guys. It does. It works. I'm telling you guys, this stuff works. So this looks really good. I'll probably run a file over the top and kind of even it out a little bit more. It's going to bother me that it's a little wavy on top. It will. So I'll fix that. But it's nicely splayed over. Got that nice steel barrel wedge. I did get some cracking. Guys, I normally get cracking around that when I put steel barrel wedges in. If you're worried about cracking, then I wouldn't probably do that. I'd probably thin it down a little bit more before you did that. But I didn't blow it out on the sides. It's just a little crack here and there. And with some boiled linseed oil on top and really oiling this thing up, I won't have any issues with those cracks on top. It's totally fine. And there's some other people on YouTube that have hafted axes and done axe work that have put cracks in there, and they'll tell you the same thing. I've seen their videos and they've said the same thing about cracks. They're not worried about them either. Some people aren't. I don't see where it really affects much of anything. So, but guys, look at that splay job. Whew. That thing is nasty. It is nasty. Look at that. Bam. Whew. That thing ain't going nowhere. So where's the other one? It's over there. Let me go grab the other one. All in all, not bad. I did leave this one a little bit more proud than this one. This one's a little bit higher, but that's okay. It was just the way I cut it. Wasn't paying attention. It's a little bit higher, but they're both splayed very well. This one's splayed really nice. This one I'm not concerned about. It's splayed nicely. I do wish, if I could take things back, I wish I could take this small barrel wedge out and put one of these in this one, but I really don't think it's going to go anywhere. But just aesthetically pleasing to match them, I would have rather have done that. But all in all, not bad at all. Got both these done in one day. Well, if you can count the first part of the video where I kind of started, I would have gotten it done that night had I had more time. But yeah, guys, look at that. Both Gränsfors Bruk carpenter's axes are done. Thanks for sticking around for the hafting. And the next thing you'll see is I'm going to be outside throwing. So let's cut to that. You guys see the sweat rolling off me? Man, I was tearing these axes up. Alright, so we're done. We're done with the Gränsfors Bruk carpenter's axes. Hope you guys enjoyed the Hafting video. Hope you got some information out of that. These things are extremely easy to seat onto new handles, these heads are. So if you get one of these and you're worried about handles and breaking and everything, guys, it literally is seamless. It literally goes down, tad bit of thinning here and there, and it sits really well. I will tell you guys that I really like coming back after a throw-in session and giving you my final opinion right after it's done. I literally just wrapped up throwing these. I only like making videos when I'm in the moment or in the mood to make the videos, which is why it took me so long to make a video on these axes here and throwing them. I want you guys to see how much I'm into throwing the axes, and I want to be into it as well. I don't want to come out here and throw because I have to. I want to come out here and throw because I want to. I want you guys to see how into it I am when I'm tossing these axes for distance and throwing it hard. And I want you to see how hard I'm working to throw these axes for you guys and show you what these things are capable of. I beat the shit out of these 3 axes, I'm not going to lie. Look at this. They're all good. They're all still good. Of course, guys, this one's a little different. This is one that I modified, that I hafted and put a beard in, so the weight on this one's a little off compared to these two. So it can be tricky when you're throwing 3 axes and one of the axes, the weight is off, or maybe all 3 are different. That's something that I encourage you guys to do, is go outside and throw more than 1 axe. And then when you get good, go out and throw 2 or 3 different axes that are all different handle lengths, different weights. It'll challenge you. So, but anyway, guys, I had a really good time filming, hafting these axes and throwing them. As you can see, I'm pouring sweat, and I freaking love it. Love it. Dave loves it. I love it. Look at him. He's always out here waiting for me to throw axes. He's beside himself right now. All right, guys, so that's it. That's the end of the Gränsfors Bruk carpenter's axes. What a bunch of great axes here. They really are. They're great. They hold their tempering, The handles that Gränsfors Bruk uses are freaking beasts. They oil the hell out of them. You can tell when you get them. They're just great axes. They are expensive, I will say that. Everybody can't afford them, and I understand that. But man, these things are like everyday throwers for me. Double rotations, that's where I like staying. Double and single rotations, they're really good. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of it. Thanks for all the support. Thanks, guys. Go back and watch some of my other stuff that I've dropped in the past week or so. I'm trying to put out a lot of videos because it's summer, and I love being outside when it's hot. So, thanks for everything. I really do appreciate it. And I hope that somebody out there is getting something out of these videos. I know you are, because you're emailing me, and some of you are texting me on my personal phone, which I'm happy to do. So I know that I'm giving some information out to some that are enjoying it. And if you guys aren't into axe throwing and you're not really getting any information, I hope you're just getting some entertainment at least. Me and Dave are going to work on our filming skills, and we're going to bring you guys some more humor in this. You know, I'm trying to present things in a serious manner, but I do have a jokester side, and I am kind of a bit of a comedian. You guys have seen little bits of it, but I plan on opening up a little more, get a little bit more comfortable, and my comedian side will come out. So more like dad, you know, dad humor. But anyway, thanks for all the support, guys. Till next time, see ya. Get one if you don't have one. Get one if you don't have one. At least one. At least one. Spare handles like 30 bucks. You guys will have a great time with them. You really will. See ya.